Chapter 3. Happy Families and Lies. Tom opened his front door and placed his football on top of the shoe rack. He took off his blazer and hung his backpack on the coat hook. His mum came into the cramped hallway drying her hands on a tea towel. Angela Lake, or Aunt, as her friends called her, was a frazzled and nervous woman, who spent all hours of the day running around after her husband Dan Tom, or so it seemed to. Quick, get in the kitchen, I've made your sausage, egg, and chips for dinner, eat it up sharpish, like, or your dad will, Avenue, M. Tom kissed his mum on the cheek and crept silently past the open doorway of the front room where his dad sat in an old threadbare armchair watching the horse racing on TV. He was eating a sausage sandwich and seemed unaware of the brown sauce that dripped down his large wobbly chin. "Oi!" Dad shouted. "Come, don't go creeping about. Did ya get me paper?" Tom took a deep breath and stepped into the small room. Damp clothes hung on the radiators, causing condensation to run down the windows. The old mantel clock above the electric fire struck 4. Dad wiped his chin and cleaned his greasy fingers on his dirty white t-shirt. "Here," said Tom, tossing the rolled-up newspaper, which landed with a slap on his dad's large thighs. Dad grunted and took another bite out of his sandwich. Tom couldn't stand this man, and he hated the way he treated his mum. One day he would get out of this tiny house, taking his mum with him. It wouldn't bother him if he never saw his deadbeat dad again. Tom rushed his dinner down, then sneaked upstairs, changed into his jeans, pulled a thick jumper over his head and crept down again. He slipped silently past his dad, who was now snoring, his head back with his mouth wide open. "Mum, I'm off out with even Clovis. We're just going trick-or-treating." He hated lying to her, but he didn't think he was really doing anything wrong. He was just going on a little adventure with his best mates and he knew that his dad would never let him go. "Don't be late, love. You know how he gets if you come in late." "I won't, Mum. I'll see you later." He hugged her then tiptoed quietly out of the house, grabbing his coat and bike. Clovis knew he was going to be late getting to Eve's as he hadn't even got home and changed yet. Finding the lift had broken down again, he'd started the arduous task of climbing the 10 flights of stairs to his flat. After what seemed an age, he sighed a heavy sigh of relief as he eventually stepped onto his floor. It was a good job he didn't live on the 15th floor, that didn't even bear thinking about. He passed neighbors chatting and little children playing, and he couldn't help but smile as he got closer to his front door because the smell of Mum's cooking was amazing and his stomach rumbled in agreement. Her cooking was just the best and Eve and Tom were always asking to come over, especially when they knew she was cooking her famous jerk chicken. Clovis shut the door behind him and heard music playing in the front room. Taking his coat off, he poked his head around the corner and was amazed at the sight before him. His older brother Jamil was dancing in the middle of the room, completely unaware that Clovis had come in. Jamil always fancied himself as a bit of a star, but in reality, Clovis thought he looked like someone desperate for the toilet. He tried not to laugh but the scene was too funny. And he failed dismally, snorting through his nose. Jamil jumped. "Bloody hell, you scared me, laughed Clovis. "I thought you were having some sort of fit." "Ha, ha," said Jamil, turning down the music. "How was school?" "It was good, actually," said Clovis, taking his glasses off and cleaning them on his jumper. "Oh, yeah. Why, got a girlfriend yet?" Jamil loved to tease his younger brother. "No, but I've got a really interesting homework piece to write about pagans." "Fascinating. Did you know, for example?" "Come on, Einstein," interrupted Jamil, "Mum's been cooking all day. We've been waiting for you so we can eat." Jamil loved his brother, but sometimes he wished he could just relax and chill out. The kitchen was steamed up, and a large bowl of different colored vegetables swam in a delicious-smelling sauce. Potatoes and curries sat in little side dishes. Claudette Gale believed in feeding her boys well, because if they were well fed their brains could work harder. Her two sons were her proudest achievement and she doted on their every need, but she was no pushover. Claudette was in charge of her household and her boys knew it. "Mum, this looks amazing," said Clovis. He folded his long lean legs under the small table. Claudette looked proudly at the feast set before them. The boys piled their plates high and tucked in. "Mum, remember I'm going out tonight. You said I could," said Clovis as he dished more scrumptious stew onto his plate. "Yes, I remember. Are you with Eve and Tom?" "Yeah, trick or treating." Clovis kept his head down. If his mum or brother saw his face, they would know he was lying. "I said you could go. But don't be out too late. And make sure your phone is charged," said Claudette. "Where are you going?" asked Jamil, chasing a juicy pepper round his plate. "Oh, you know, just round the estate." Clovis kept stabbing at his food, not daring to look up. "I want you in by 10 o'clock at the latest. You hear me, Clovis?" Claudette's voice was sharp and stern. Clovis finally looked up, glad that his glasses had steamed up so his family couldn't see his eyes. If they knew he was getting the tube to Epping Forest, they would go mad. "Great, thanks, Mum." Clovis smiled and continued to shovel food into his lying mouth.